The following is a production of the Dallas Genealogical Society. For more information, please visit our website at dallasgenealogy.org. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome. For the next 5 or 10 minutes or so, I'm always going to be Tony Hansen, but for the next 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to be the president of the Dallas Genealogical Society. And then with hope, I'm going to introduce you to our new president. But first of all, we have the great pleasure and great honor of having the newly hired and installed director of the Dallas Public Library, Manya Shore, who's agreed to come down here and say a few words to us. So Manya, please come up here and tell us all about your great plans. Your good plans.
We can't see the screen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm not good at standing behind a lectern, so I hope you don't mind if I stand as far as the cord will let me stand. My name is Manya Shore, and I'm the new director of the Dallas Public Library. I have been in this role for 2.5 months, I believe. But I have been in public libraries for 27 years. I know I don't look like it, but it's true. This is my 6th large urban library system. Prior to Dallas, I was the director of the Fort Worth Public Library. I've also served at the DC Public Library, Omaha, Nebraska, Sacramento, California, and I cut my teeth as a baby librarian in Portland, Oregon at the Multnomah County Library, which has a central library that's an original Carnegie, if you ever have a chance. I don't mention that often, but this is the group that would love to know that, I think. I'd like to start today with telling a story. On Thursday evening, I had the pleasure of visiting the Skyline Branch Library. Anyone been to Skyline? It's one of our older locations. I believe it opened in the mid-70s. It's a bit odd of a design. I'm not sure I've seen a design like that in a public library before. I'm sorry? It's an odd decade. Hey, watch it. I was born in that decade. I don't know what you're saying about me by saying that. But I was asked specifically to go on Thursday evening for an opening night artist reception. And if you've been to that library, you know they don't have a fancy meeting room. They don't have a way to hang prints on the wall. This was just a staff person who developed a personal relationship with an artist who visits the library. She put up black mesh on the walls and then hung the framed art on top of it. And I'm telling you this story because I had a great conversation with the artist who turned out to be a refugee from Nicaragua. He was an architect in Nicaragua, and he came to the US in 2019 to escape what's happening there. And while he was an architect in Nicaragua, here he drives an Uber. And he paints in between his rides. So he keeps paints, pencils, and small cardboard canvases in his car, and then he affixes them to actual canvas to make his art. This man's story was incredible. And when I think about genealogy research, it's all just about stories. That's all you all are doing, is helping people discover the stories of their lives, whether it's the life they live now or the lives that the people before them lived. And you may not see a bright line between the story I just told you about the gentleman from Nicaragua and the Dallas Genealogical Society and the 8th floor of the Dallas Central Library, but to me, it is all the same thing. It is a public institution offering access for free or prepaid, as I like to say, to services that they may not know about or be able to afford. I think we all know that you don't make a lot of money driving an Uber, but this gentleman now has an art show at a public library, and a lot of people cannot pay someone to do research on their families, their history, where they came from, but they don't need to, because what we have upstairs is available to anyone for free. Sure, you can clap to that. I don't. So all of that is to say that I appreciate you all so much for your passion, your commitment, for giving up your own time for this passion, and really opening doors and windows to people who really maybe have no idea how to do it themselves. And I thank you. And of course, I thank the staff on the 8th floor of the Central Library, because their passion equals yours. I hear you have a bunch of people registered later this afternoon for everything that's being offered. And that is testament to how much people want to know about their own personal histories. So thank you, and keep it up, and know that you have the support of the Dallas Public Library. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Now let's see if I can remember how to share things again. Yeah, I use Zoom a lot. Sharing is one thing, seeing is another. That is looking better. Okay, so we have a little bit of mundane business to take care of to clear off the, I guess, the account for my term in office. And so I'm going to do a couple of things, and then I may stretch a little bit more because Barry, our next president, is sitting in traffic somewhere in this rainstorm and is on her way. So I may do my best Barry imitation too, although well, we won't go there. And anyway, I just want to mention that we did publish the minutes from the previous meeting, which was the May meeting. Those were sent out in the newsletter, I believe, sent out in the email reminder, and are available on the website, as are all of our previous meeting stuff. So I just want to remind you that you can go to our website, click on the events, click on the next general meeting, and then meeting minutes, and you will see something hopefully that doesn't look like this, because when I did this, I was not yet logged into the website. And so our previous speaker, which was Thomas McEntee, who did a wonderful, for me, transitional kind of thing on artificial intelligence, has his recording up there available, but he did ask that we limit it to members only. So if you log into the website using your same user ID and password that you do when you go to, renew your membership or register, you will see this instead, which is, you will now see revealed that you can just click on that. That'll show you the links, the handout, and all of that. We have just about all, in fact, all of our general meetings have been recorded and are there. Many of the presentations have been made available and recorded there too. So you just have to go to the website and log into it, and all will be revealed. So with that, does anybody have any updates or corrections to the minutes from the May meeting? Seeing a lot of head shaking here and hearing nothing, we'll accept those as posted. So thank you to Terry Turner, our secretary, for that. Okay, our financial summary. We've got a total of $181,766.42 in the bank. At least we did as of last night. So we've got the money spread across a checking account and a savings account, and then we have $100,000 invested in a CD that is paying some interest. Change a little bit how we look at that. I thought Barry and I, this is one of the things that we talked about as we're transitioning. It made more sense to kind of refer back to where we were at the beginning of the year. And so when we started in October 1st, which is the beginning of our fiscal year last year, we had slightly more money. And so the bottom line is we spent about $1,400 more than we've taken in this year. But, we try to be pretty true to that. So anyway, as an organization, we're in pretty good shape. Did I hear somebody cough, or is there a comment out there in Zoom land? Cough. Okay. All right. So again, we have a lot of money for a nonprofit. We're in great shape. And mine, you left already. Well, Aries here. Just tell her we're looking to spend some money on the library. So give us some ideas, okay? There'll be more about that in a bit. We do have a budget for this year. That was one of the things that the old board did over the summer. And I'd like to thank our committee, Amy Halbrook, who's also our treasurer, chaired that. Sugo Overlee, who's here with us. Pat Hernandez is off chasing around in Europe, I think. Melissa Fleming and myself were all part of that. And we did come up with a budget that was approved by the board at our last meeting, which was on August 27th. And I'd like to share that with you. because I'm going to need some approval here in just a bit. So this is all of our various sources of income. Our largest source of income is the money that we get from our seminars. That's about almost $19,000, what we hope is going to come in. Our membership dues, thank you very much for that. That's about $9,000. Some indirect contributions, other sources of income that we have. Altogether, right around $39,000 is what we think we're going to have as income over the course of the next year. But of course, we're going to spend a lot of that. So again, we have a lot of money going a lot of different ways. $6,500 for our speakers' fees for these general meetings. Other incentive expenses there. We'll come back to the donations and gifts in kind because that's probably one of our bigger expenses. And we can come back to that if you have any questions. Moving on down that list, we also have these are the balance of our expenditures. As you can see, we spend a pretty good chunk of money on our information technology, the Zoom licenses, the various pieces of software that we use for SurveyMonkey and what have you. And not so coincidentally, arriving at a grand total of $38,977, which is exactly what we project for our income. So we're kind of conservative in this, and we feel that we're going to take in just as much as we spend, or we're going to come pretty darn close as we did last year. So I'll just stop here and just ask, is there any questions or comments or anything anybody would like to bring up about what we've proposed for the budget? I'll take that as a no. All right, we need to establish a quorum. By our bylaws, we have to have 5% of our members present. So let me start in the room. Can I see a show of hands, everybody who is a DGS member who is present? Okay, we've established quorum just with those that are here in the room. So thank you very much for that. So we're legal and we can take a vote. Because this came out of a committee, and I looked this up in Robert's Rules of Order, I don't need a motion or a second or anything. All I need is just a simple vote on this. Well, don't take that thank you yet. So may I just hear by a simple voice vote, all in favor of approving the budget as presented, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Zoom, you can join in here too if you want to. I'll give you a chance to say nay. Anybody who is opposed, say nay.
Aye.
All right, a solid aye. Thank you. So with that, we have a budget for that. I do thank you very much for that. Okay. The board wasn't idle over the summer either. We did have a planning meeting on August 16th that included the people that had newly been elected to the board and those that are continuing over and those who are leaving the board next year, and even Sharon Bowles, who was home from surgery a few days before, but she bravely showed up there. And so we all participated and had a really good discussion and came up with some pretty good things. So I'm not going to test your eyesight by telling you, but this is just a high level graphic summary of the many different things that we identified that we're going to try to be focusing on to make this organization better and more responsive, and hopefully more of what makes you do what you're doing today, which is show up here at the library for our meeting. So look forward to some really exciting and fun stuff like that. All right, this is where I did my Barry Schweitzer imitation. So this is the point at which I was going to hand things over to here, and I will do that just as soon as the rain relents and the traffic clears up. But at this point in time, my term in office is done. We have now transitioned, or will transition as soon as I hand things over to Barry, to just a very skeleton crew of leaders. We now have a president, a vice president, and a secretary. They were all elected at our May meeting. And then you're stuck with me as coming in as the past president. And so that's our skeleton staff right now. And what we will be doing, I'll get back to that. What we will be doing is meeting Monday, where we will appoint the remainder of the executive committee. So they've all agreed to, and we're all set with that. It just takes the skeleton crew to formally make that happen. We'll appoint the directors, the rest of the people who are volunteering to do all the key things that make all this stuff happen. And as of Monday night, we'll be right back where we are again with a full board of directors. But that's kind of the legal process and the legal methodology that we employ to go through and changing from the old board to the new board. No Barry yet. All right. Well, luckily I made the PowerPoint presentation, so I know what's coming. One of the things that we did talk about in our budget is some indirect income. And one very great source of income from that comes from our very own Todd Dedecker. Todd works for Microsoft Corporation, and they have a great program known as Benevity. And so Todd tracks the time he donates to the organization, and they make a matching donation to the organization that he profits for. And so they do it at $1 an hour. And so somehow we got $5,750 this year from Todd. So Clearly, that's a little more than $1 an hour, but it does represent an awful lot of time that Todd has spent on our behalf. And not just this year. I went back and looked again, and we've received a total of $34,105 due to Todd's volunteerism from the Microsoft Benevity program. And so we are very grateful to Microsoft, or even more grateful to Todd for putting in and reporting all the time for us, because that's a great source of income. And Barry, don't be sitting down back there. No, it ain't gonna happen. So Barry is here, and I'm going to turn things over to her just as soon as she gets up here.
Everybody.
Well, don't say hi yet. It's not official.
How do I put my badge on? Will that
No,
work?
no. So I give to you the gavel of responsibility,
Oy.
which you can bang at will, and magic things will happen from this group. So
Okay.
congratulations,
Whoa.
Madam President.
Oy. How embarrassing is it to be late to your first meeting? Well, that is actually my first order of business, is that as I use this gavel for the first time, can we bring him back up now that he's like tried to sneak and run as fast apart? So as my first order of business, I would like to officially, with deep gratitude and appreciation, acknowledge this man who for the last 2 years has held this organization in the palm of his hand, leaving me, and I have size 11 shoes, some of the biggest shoes to fill. And so please join me in a raucous round of applause to our Tony Hansen. First order of business. Thank you. And hopefully Chris has captured that so that we can get that in the TikToks and all the things. Oh, and there's even things coming up online. Fantastic. So with that, we bring to our next slide. This is fun. Oh, it's being recorded for posterity. That's so nice. So with that, we are continuing to discuss some exciting things that we have going on, including these are, this is all news here. Projecting to add links to Find a Grave and the billiongraves.com to the 42,000 records in our cemetery database. And with that, 37.5%, that's 15,000 records plus, as of September 2025, have been indexed. In fact, 3,000 records have been indexed since May 2nd, which means that we still have a lot of work to do. So this is, something that if we can add, if we can think of things or people that can help us, it would be most appreciated. In fact, we'd like to honor and acknowledge the top 5 indexers who have completed this in the past 30 days. So again, if you will join me in giving a shout and applause to Susan Younger, Megan Dobbins, Heather Hall, Julie Leon, and Donald Hinson, who have done work in the last 30 days, and seeing the overall status of Heather Hall, Susan Younger, Megan Dobbins, Amy Hallbrook, and Julie Leon. So congratulations and many thanks to them. Again, this is something that we can all take part in and help with. We'd like to be able to talk a little bit here about how to follow along and to sign up. These are I know that I am late in acknowledging, I'm late for everything this morning. Haven't had enough caffeine either. So thank you to the volunteers who stepped up and who made this happen. But again, being able to thank what amazing work our website and webmaster is able to help us to do. Here's how to be able to do this task. Being able to get involved, looking at the volunteer sign up, being able to come through, and whether it's suggesting a project, helping with marketing, being able to log into cemetery indexing progress. That's how this works. Any questions or thoughts? I hear myself talking really fast and want to make sure to check in with everybody. So far, so good. I know we're all really excited about our speaker today. So with that, here's how to do it. We go to the home, get involved, go to the cemetery indexing process. It's right there. Another part, of course, is looking at our expenses. And that takes us to where we are when it comes to specifically what we've expended upon this year. We're looking through from October on. So just to take a look at that, what we have as far as speaker fees, what we're doing with reimbursed travel, catering, printing. So excited that our printing is looking clean and elegant. Our online advertising, supplies for specific events, hospitality expenses. And then, of course, we're about to look at the donations for the library. Oh, and Sharon just pointed out, and I wanted to comment that we will also need volunteer work for everyone, is what I believe that was. Can you all give me a heads up to what she said? Perfect. Thank you, guys. And then I don't know how we would do it with this IT team. It's really, you're all incredible. And then we are also looking at the fact that we support both our donations going to the Dallas Public Library, which I can't stress enough how much libraries matter, and the fact that these gifts in kind help to support the books to the Dallas Public Library. And so what are we supporting? Let's break this down even deeper. So looking at the historygeo.com, our newspaper archives opportunity that allow for users to access that here at the library, being able to, and I can tell you as a historian from another organization, the scanner maintenance contract, the ability that we have to scan and use the equipment here at the library and keep that active is so vital. And again, part 4 are the books that cannot be provided by the approved suppliers. That also takes us to the indirect contributions. And we're supported, again, I can't say enough about Todd, but the fact that this Benevity that he works, the work that he does with Microsoft provides us these major contributions. That's important because with a budget like we have, where else can we think of these contributions? And that takes us to the next big one, which is the North Texas Giving Day. Communities Foundations of Texas allows us and works with us to partner, sponsored by, of course, our friends at Amazon, to, like other nonprofit agencies, bank and give. So, of course, mark your calendars, please, for September 18th of 2025. That will allow us to match our funds. And we're off to a really good start, which is that we've already received donations in the amount of $845. Again, this helps us to match those funds throughout the North Texas Giving Day campaign. And having matching funds really attracts available donors and more donors. So the more you can, Chris, you'll appreciate this, the more we can take this information and share it on our social media and let our friends know. Giving Day, North Texas Giving Day has yard signs. There are ways to let our neighbors know on Nextdoor or other things that our genealogical society, we can all support and give back. So again, you can donate now through September 18th by supporting the Dallas Genealogical Society. North Texas Day is almost here. It's going to be here before we know it. And in doing so, we really are able to encapsulate our mission, the fact that we are providing genealogical education, our big part that we support this library, and that we preserve Dallas County history. It ties back to our goals, which is to raise $6,500 to provide library patron access, again, not enough coffee, to genealogical services. And that, again, it helps to provide that archival information through newspaper archive and history GEO. And then third, of course, it supports our genealogical community. Big part. Change in our plans. So in case you've noticed this, we had Gina Philibert Ortega scheduled to come and speak. Unfortunately, she had to cancel her appearance, which means that we pivoted. And thank goodness we made a great pivot. I think this is so topical and so fortunate to have Kelly Bergheimer step into the same date October 25th, and to really come through for us to teach us about the strategies for DNA breakthroughs. Feeling good, excited about that? Yay, okay. Just checking in to see how awake you all are and making sure that you have coffee this morning. All right, fantastic. So now it is time for us to look at some upcoming topics, which are successful sleuthing, not stalking, for DNA matches. I just love the title. Ancestry Pro tools, increasing your DNA analysis. And as Sharon just shared, it's going to be a great seminar. The power of ancestry clusters and inferred matching, the tale of two grandfathers and adoption, privacy and ethical concerns with DNA. So we are super excited because you know what? Here's some of the pricing that we've talked about. By October 5th, so again, mark your calendars, as a DGS member, our cost will be $55. After October 5th, it's going to bump, and that means it'll be $70. Others is $75. Again, well worth it. And for after October 5th, it'll be $90. And our big announcement is that if you register, right, drum roll please, if you register by September 10th for a chance to win, 3 lucky registrants will win an Ancestry.com DNA test. I'm curious, out of a show of hands, how many of you have done a DNA ancestry test already? Okay, great. I still see some that don't have hands up. And my guess is there's still some people online. And thank you for those of you who put your hands up online. We've got some great people paying attention. I appreciate that. But this also could be a way, if you do win, you could share potentially with a relative who has not. There's still ways. So we really are excited and eager to have you do that. Now, again, I love how we walk you through to be able to take on this special interest group. You'll notice that we have what we call our SIGs, our special interest groups. They are African American interests, best practices, DNA interest, German genealogy, and Jewish genealogy. And to find that and to get more information on how to get involved, again, you go to our website homepage, you click on special interest groups, and then that will take you to our information about those groups. This is actually how I got involved with DGS. So with that, I want to share with you the September upcoming meetings. There's the German genealogy group that meets here, on the 6th floor, Classroom D plus Zoom. It's Bridging the Atlantic. Dr. Sabine, I'm sorry, I'm always worried I'm going to mess up Dr. Sabine's name, so I'm going to just call her Dr. Sabine. And that this German genealogy group meets September 13th at 10:30 in the morning. Oh, Sabine, thank you. As you can imagine, being a girl named Barry Schweitzer, I am super sensitive to names because it is given that I am always pronounced Barry Schwitzer, which if you think, Cowboys coach, it could work great for dinner reservations. But in my world, it also means one who sweats. So I'm really sensitive to names. So thank you for correcting me with Dr. Sabina. Group 2 in September is September 18th, our DNA group at 6 p.m. here, on the 6th floor, Classroom D and Zoom. There's the African American group, September 20th at 2 p.m., 6th floor, Classroom C and Zoom. Best practices, McDermott Room, 8th floor, September 27th at 10:30 a.m. And Jewish genealogy, and there's a little correction on this, September 8th at 10:30. You'll notice that it says the Jewish Federation of Greater Dallas. We have 2 buildings on the same campus that are next door to each other. And very often those meetings happen in the Jewish Community Center. Sometimes if the building is packed, they might move us to the next building, same campus. So for those of you who are keeping score, I think it is on September 8th at the Federation building, but don't hold it to me. And if all else fails, you can come to my office in the Dallas Jewish Historical Society and we'll get it worked out. That's September 8th, 10:30. It doesn't say Zoom, but my goal, we're going to get Zoom happening for y'all too. Family History Day, October 17th. We have recorded presentations. We help staff the DGS Help Resource Desk. There's a new part to this year that you'll be able to order and pay for a lunch. There's the sign up on the website. We are so thrilled to be a part of this. Once again, making this happen. Thursday, October 17th. Mark your calendars. And almost last but not least, want to remind you of the general meeting that we have on October 4th. Here, same bat channel, same bat time. I'll make sure to get here earlier on October 4th, 11 a.m. in the O'Hara room. This time it's Unlocking Family History with Larry Thomas. And then another big exciting announcement that we have today is the Behind the Shelves, meeting the experts, our friends at the top 10 genealogy collection, being able to be here 1 o'clock on the 8th floor, and we will be doing a Zoom connection as well. Here's how you can check this out. Going to our calendar, looking at general meetings, and being able to find all of the additional upcoming information. So once again, I have to really be able to give a huge shout out and thank you to our tech team. And it turns out, I think I mentioned that the German SIG is also on Zoom, so that's important. That Melissa Fleming, Todd DeBecker, Paul Feather, and Amy Halbrook, I don't know how y'all do it, and I truly, truly appreciate it. And of course, Tony Hansen plays a huge role in that as well. Hospitality, Kim Edge and Sharon Bowles, who are always looking for great volunteers and ways to make this work. And with that, we also have our friends at the fabulous faculties, the AV equipment that make this happen through the Dallas Public Library. So a big shout out to Jordan Bach and Matt as well. Yay! So with that, this presentation will be recorded and available for our members only for the next year. It is with great appreciation that I'd like to call up our general meeting coordinator, Sue Glover-Lee, I'm sorry, Sue, to introduce our speaker today, Robin N. Smith. Thank you.
This has been a production of the Dallas Genealogical Society. If you're already a member, thank you. Your fees have been supporting these and other society activities. If you're not yet a member, please consider joining now. Go to dallasgenealogy.org and click on the membership tab.